Scotty, you've got to get me some maneuvering power. I can't repair warp drive without a space dock. Then get me impulse power, half speed, quarter speed, anything. If we can get this Hulk moving, maybe we can do...
That's right, power. Today we're going to talk about creating your own electricity, being able to generate your own power in an off-grid situation and live comfortably, be able to keep up your security systems or your outside lights. I'm not the type of guy that's hoping for a collapse. I'm hoping for the best and preparing for the worst. And this is part of it. The grid is very vulnerable. I'm not going to go into all the points. You should know that already. It's vulnerable in a natural catastrophe and man-made catastrophes. Up here in Minnesota, going off the grid means, in January means death in 2 or 3 days unless the state or the cavalry comes and gets you. And I'm not counting on that. So I want to talk to you about creating your own power. I'm using a 1930s design British motor engine, I should say, and it's diesel. It doesn't have any electronic ignition. It's compression started, which I'll also show you. Diesel fuel is your fuel of choice for vehicles or generating power. It'll last 8 years if you keep it nice. Gas will last you about a year, if that, and it still gets kind of crappy after that. So diesel is the way to go. This is run on a thermal siphon system. You can pump it around too, but it will run on its own just on a thermal siphon if you set it up right. It'll heat water to 200 degrees, so you can imagine if you harvest that and you have a boiler system like my house, you could heat your house for free. And it'll provide the electricity to pump it around. Also, you can harvest the heat off the exhaust, which gets well over 200 degrees. If you wrap some copper coil around that, you could send it to your water heater, and it would heat your water for you. The other thing about the diesel Lister engine that I'm using, it was designed to make farms independent of all the power outages that they would get, because back then you had to bring electricity a long way, and it was coming from the city, and it was expensive. You could buy 2 of these on a farm, and it would keep the farmhouse warm, and it would keep the poultry bin warm, and it would keep the dairy barn warm, and it would provide power and heat and hot water. And it was a miracle engine, and in fact I still think it is. It's an incredible engine. Again, you don't need any electronics to start this engine. You just need your arms, and it will start and it will run. There are legends of these things running for 30 or 40 years, and they're used everywhere from the Alaska North Slope in cold weather to the African wilderness and in the Australian outback. These are a proven engine, and they're legendary, and they're harder to get than it is to buy, one of your generators from Northern Tool or Home Depot, but you can find them out there, and this is the one that I would recommend, because this is going to keep running and running and running for you, and it's going to run when you need it. It's excellent for charging battery banks. So this is the first video in a series that I'll be doing on generating your own electricity. The other key to these Lister engines are their exhaust note. Most of your modern day generators are going to make an exhaust note that people are going to be able to hear for miles. I actually pipe this exhaust through the ground, up on the ceiling of my garage, through the ground and into a tank into the ground, and then it's exhausted through about a 10-foot PVC pipe, and you can't hear this even at my chicken coop from the other end of my yard. 3 banks here, all 6-volt batteries, 8 batteries each bank, equaling 48 volt. Try to get as high of of a volt system as you can, because that's going to give you the best efficiency. Higher the volts in your system, the better the efficiency. The T105 is a great battery. There are other alternative energy batteries out there, but you're going to get the most for your money right here. There's about 220, 224 amps per battery. They weigh 63 pounds, easy to get around, easy to maintain. I built a mobile rack, got it from Menards, then welded on some wheels onto the bottom so I can move it around when I'm maintaining it. But your battery bank, I mean, I think I spent, you know, a good couple $1,000s here. So, but again, it's a 10-year. You roll that out over 10 years, and it's not a bad deal. And I'm hoping to be, if I'm careful, I'm hoping that this will allow me to have juice to run my, you know, security devices or modest lights or outside lights for 2 or 3 days without turning on the lister to recharge them. This is my electrical panel. I've got main panel here, sub panel next to it, transfer switch above, and a transfer switch below. The main panel, of course, is when I've got grid power coming in. I can operate my whole house. The secondary panel is the sub panel, where I've picked everything that I think I really need to live comfortably if things went south. I've got 20 circuits in there, so it's not that much different from my main panel, but it'll run everything that I need, like my outside lights and, you know, lights in every room. It'll run my heat pump, my freezer, my refrigerator, microwave. I can run, you know, everything I need if I'm careful and conservative off this and still be comfortable. This is my MagnaSign inverter charger. It's a charging system and inverter. It's really the brain of my off-grid system. Off to the left-hand side there is my remote panel in case I want to put that upstairs and run it from upstairs. The MagnaSign inverter will change my DC voltage into AC voltage so I can use it in the house, and it does it very efficiently. It's a great company. Outback is another company if you're looking into these. Xantrex is another one. I don't want to down anybody out there, but I found that the MagnaSign was the best bang for the buck, and that's what I'm going for. It's also a charging system. It'll charge the batteries when on-grid and off-grid for me, and it'll maintain them and keep them in good shape. You don't want to waste the money that you put into those batteries, and the MagnaSign is kind of, you know, the mother hen of the system, the brain that'll look after them for you. So you don't want to cheat yourself there, but you don't want to spend any more money than you have to. This MagnaSign inverter was $2,500. So that's what this video is all about. It's for those that are interested in severing that umbilical cord that goes to all of our houses. So if there is a situation where the grid does collapse, you're able to generate your own electricity long term. I do want to add that this is not the place to start. This is after you get that survival triangle completed. And what I mean by that, or how I always put it in a survival triangle, you need water and food at one point, and you need heat and shelter at the second point, and you need a way to protect those two, and that completes what I call the survival triangle. And that survival triangle will not work unless you have all three of those points accomplished. So I already have those things under control. I have a sustainable food source and a sustainable heat source, and hopefully I can keep my shelter. So I'm moving on to generating my own electricity, and I will be doing more videos on that. You're looking at some of the squash that were taken out of our garden yesterday. It's fall starting here, so we're starting to harvest some of the crop. We'll be putting this into cold storage for the winter, but that's another video. Thanks for watching. Email me with any questions. I'll be glad to help. Thanks.